Welcome to Final Drive TV with our continuing coverage of the Nitto Tires United States Touring Car Championship. Today we're at Buttonwillow Raceway in Southern California, just to the north of Los Angeles. Now with that, let's go down to our usual host, Jeff Lepper, and a very special guest host today.
Thanks, guys. Well, welcome to the 2011 Nitto Tire United States Touring Car Championship. We're here for round number 6 at Buttonwillow Raceway, just outside of Los Angeles. As everyone knows, LA is the import and tuner mecca in the country for import tuner cars, of course. My name is Jeff Lepper. I'm joined here by Andy Chittum, stepping in for my absolute favorite co-host, Becky Arsham, unable to make it. I believe she had to take a trip to Europe or something. You know how the high movie stars are now. They get to go take those luxurious vacations. I'm stuck out here in the sun. It's a lovely Saturday morning here. The sun's already up, not a cloud in the sky, nice and sunny. I'm joined here with Andy Chittum. Andy, thank you so much for stepping in and helping us out this race. Really appreciate it. It's good to have you back.
Oh, great to be here. If I can help out filling in for Becky, then I'm happy to be here.
Well, she's a lot better to look at, that's for sure, but you'll do. Got a couple storylines already developing here this Saturday morning. We got 7 different manufacturers showing up here for round number 6, so great representation. Like we said, we're so close to the Los Angeles tuner car market. To have that great representation from different manufacturers here is great. And our championship, boy, is that heating up. Pete Bovenberg currently in the lead right now. Second place. Come on, we're going to you. Come on, you got to step up. Come on. Second place in the championship?
Second place in the championship, I believe, is still Pete, right?
No, Pete Bovenberg's first. Oh, we just covered this. Come on.
Brandon.
Come on. You got ready. Brandon Krause. This is Roger Krause turning Black Tracks Performance Honda Prelude. Third place, the team of Dave Brown and Carl Chica and their Mitsubishi Lancer. The Life's Good Racing. Works Performance Mitsubishi. That's just a beautiful car. Got a great new wrap on that car. And we talk about championship. You look at first, second, and third, separated by about 30 points. But the battle right now is for third, with fourth place, the rookie Larry Banney and his GoGoGear.com BMW M3. Fourth place. Great job for that rookie. He's won Rookie of the Year, everything like that. Coming out with a Go-Go Gear team now and a very established team in U.S. Touring Car, stepping up. A little better than your rookie year.
Well, I've always got a soft spot in my heart for BMWs, of course. So I'm thinking maybe he might be the dark horse here, but he's got a little ways to go to catch up to the front guys. And
the only rear-wheel drive car in the field here, too, surrounded by four-wheel drives and front-wheel drive cars as well. If we move on to 5th in the championship right now, that's the team of Ron Valtierra and Felipe Cabezas and their Mazda 3. Had another Mazda 3 out here this weekend, so that's going to be really good to see both of those Mazdas competing. Only one car gets to go for points. They're 5th, but they're only 6 points out of 3rd right now and only 36 out of the lead, so anything can happen here at Buttonwillow. I heard news, too. I'm going to go ahead and do my driver interview now. We're going to switch right now. We're going to driver interviews. Andy Chittum, you're back driving the MiniUSA.com. Rich Peterson brought his little Mini Cooper out here, and I saw you with a helmet and a suit on. You're driving.
Yeah, I just put together the deal just a couple of days ago. We just quickly jumped in the car and drove down here, and Rich was looking for somebody to help him out, and I was happy to help put a little bit of pedal onto the Mini, and he's also just done some more power upgrades and some other things, so he wanted to just see what it could really do, and so far I think it's a pretty quick little car.
So you tested yesterday, no time sessions yet. How do you feel in the car? Is an adaptation from a front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive? Supercharged car versus normally aspirated car? Small car versus big car? I mean, what else? I don't know what else we can do here.
I think there's probably more difference between a bad car and a good car as opposed to any of those other things. And it's a good little car.
And look for Andy Chittum to try to spray the champagne here at round number 6 of the United States Touring Car Championship, brought to you by Nitto Tires. We'll see everybody again right after qualifying as we set the grid for round number 6.
Thank you, Jeff and Andy, and I want to say a really big welcome back to Andy Chittum. Andy was our 2009 runner-up for the season championship, and we're happy to see him back.
Yes, and Andy has always driven BMWs, but this time he's driving something similar, a Mini Cooper S. Andy's actually driving the R.M. Peterson Construction Mini Cooper S, owned by Rich Peterson, and he's out here as like the hired gun, I guess, to try to win this thing. Rich has been working on the car steadily and making it faster and faster, and so we'll just have to see how close he is.
We will see what's going on. So let's talk about now our starting grid for today's race.
Definitely.
Starting in our pole position today is Brandon Krause in the DW Pumps Honda Prelude.
Starting in second position is Felipe Cabezas in the T&I Racing Mazda Speed 3.
Position number 3 is Dave Brown in the Hawkworks Mitsubishi Lancer Rally Art.
On the outside of row 2, we have Kurt Simmons in the Stevens Creek Dodge SRT4.
Position number 5 is Pete Bovenberg in the MBO Racing Honda Civic. This is a position that Pete was moved to due to a penalty after the first qualifying session.
On the outside of row 3, we have Andy Chittum in the RM Peterson Construction Mini Cooper S.
Position number 7 is Larry Banney in the Go-Go Gear UTI BMW M3.
On the next row, we have Dennis O'Neill in the BMW 330i.
Position number 9 goes to Ralph Warren in the Total Lubricants BMW 135i.
And rounding out the top 10 is Gil Caravantes in the Commerce Printing BMW M3.
Well, I see the pace car. That means we are out on our warm-up lap. So storylines today, we've got a few. First, we are in race 6 of 7, so that means points. And we're down to a pretty tight point battle, certainly between Brandon Krause and Pete Bovenberg. Pete really needs to finish in front of Brandon today to make up some points.
Definitely, but that's really the big story for today. But I think my storyline here for today is the Mazda Speed 3. Felipe Cabezas of TNI Racing has that Mazda Speed 3 hooked up today. They are flying today, and they were only a tick behind Brandon Krause in the qualifying. So, will we win? Will we see the first win for the Mazda Speed 3 today? That's going to be really interesting.
Well, we're going to see. I think we're lining up for the start right now. They're getting into position. We do the standing start, so that's always an exciting thing. Does the four-wheel drive get the launch, or?
And there goes the green flag, and Brandon's off, and so is.
Oh.
But look at Dave Brown coming out of nowhere and getting that four-wheel drive Mitsubishi.
Boy, no
He's
kidding.
off.
But a little bit back in the pack. Interesting that it looked like Kurt maybe had a
Simmons
slow
had a
start.
problem. He almost got ran into from behind. I don't know what was wrong with him, but look at the start here.
Four-wheel drive launch. Dave Brown just took
Dave
over that
Brown
first.
just takes over, and Brandon's right on his butt, but the Mazda Speed 3 is right there too.
It is. It's holding third position. Dave Brown was third in the grid, but certainly launched right out there and took
Definitely.
that first
But look
position.
at poor Kurt Simmons. He dropped back, so many positions, but it's going to be tough for him to crawl back. But up front, here we go. The Mini's doing great. The BMWs are doing great. And Kurt's
Followed right in there.
whatever he did, he just stalled it or whatever. But he's come back and he's right on the back bumper.
So
of
let's
the
do a little
BMW.
in-car here. We're in the rear camera from Felipe Cabezas.
Look at that Mitsubishi just take off like it's got a slingshot on it or something. That thing was just hooked up and gone. And here comes, this is, I believe, the Ralph, this is the BMW 135 of Ralph Warren, the Total Lubricants BMW 135, and he's a new competitor. He's coming on board. He's really fast. Look at that thing
Absolutely,
go.
right there.
Lots of power,
Looks like he's gonna-
great grip on that car.
Looks like he's going to try to pass Felipe, but maybe not. So
Yeah, I think he's thinking about it, but Felipe's not an easy person to pass, so he's got some goodies in that car that he can make him go fast. So
it certainly does, right.
So this is really nice view, camera view. I'm enjoying this, to watch this.
And see what, yeah, absolutely. See if Ralph can get in closer, tuck in, and maybe launch past. Oh, well,
Not quite.
just peeking a little.
But if you notice, in the meantime, because of all this, now Pete Bovenberg has caught up. And look at that. And now, because of that, that cost them so much. And now Pete's trying to make a pass
That's right.
on Ralph Warren.
Looks like we've got some in-car now from Larry Vanny's GoGoGear.com race car.
Yeah, and the BMW here takes off. Again, good
thread
launch.
the needle there between all those cars.
He went through between those guys and made a good run at it there. Nice job by Larry. But then
Absolutely.
he gets passed by Ralph Warren at turn 1.
Which is what we were seeing. Ralph Warren tucking right in behind the Mazda Speed 3.
And then we see Ralph trying to pass the Mazda, which we saw earlier as he was trying to make him get by. But somewhere along the line here, Pete must... Yep, there he is.
There he
Pete
is.
must try to get by, because as we saw that earlier, so Pete went by Larry. Larry got an excellent launch, but Pete's like, hey man, I'm going for the championship. Get out of my way. I got to get to the
there
front
we go,
here.
just Andy Chittum in the
Mini Cooper S.
Mini Cooper S.
Now, the thing for Pete here is he can't wait around. He needs to get by these cars because he's got to get up the front. If it takes him a while for him to get by to the front, that's going to be too long. He needs to get by. Well, let's see what happened to Kurt. Boy, car was going, but he didn't have full throttle or something.
Something happened.
He
He losed a lot on that standing start. We'll have to watch him, see how he works his way through the crowd.
But it seems like the car is running fine now, so it's kind of odd. But he definitely it was helped because everybody else in front of him were dicing and they were slowing each other down. That allowed him to catch up. If everybody else was in a straight line, one line, they would have been taken off, and he would have
had even more space to make up.
But getting back to Pete there, he really needs to move up through the field as quickly as possible in order to get up to Brandon as fast as possible. He cannot afford to have Brandon just take off and be gone. And
which we have seen before. When Brandon gets into the lead, he owns it, and he just in the gap just increases. Now,
definitely.
Brandon doesn't have the lead.
Right.
Dave Brown is currently in the front, as we saw from that standing start. But time will tell.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think you're absolutely right about Brandon. He loves being in the lead. He doesn't like his whole technique is kind of similar to what Vettel did this year. Is he wants to get in the lead and not be bothered and pull enough lead that he's not slowed down by somebody else trying to dice with him. That way he can set fast lap after fast lap and just build a gap on everybody so nobody can come close to him. And his only issue has been mechanical problems. That's the only time he's had issues.
This is true. Now with Dave Brown in front and Brandon second, that may actually give Pete some time to catch up to Brandon before Brandon takes that.
Now, of course,
Brandon takes that.
Of course. Now, as you see, Brandon knows what's going on too. So Brandon's trying to get past Brown because he knows in some of these places, like here, we see Brandon's being slowed down by Dave, and in certain sections, Dave is faster. So he wants to get by Dave, so he can take off and not be slowed down.
All right, so now we're in the in-car camera of Dave Brown in that four-wheel drive.
Look at that thing. He just goes around everybody. Get out of my way. Love that car. That's amazing.
Absolutely. So we see him in the lead now.
You know, Dave was saying, I think it was when we were interviewing him earlier, he was saying how he was actually a little bit bummed that he was on the second row because he really wants to be on the front row because then he can take off and not even be challenged by the first turn or second turn or whatever. He could just take off and be gone.
Absolutely.
But nice view out of his car, and look at that car. That sounds great.
So let's enjoy this ride a little bit. We're in car with Dave Brown, as we said, and let's see how this goes for a little bit. So here we are in the in-car camera with Brandon Krause, who's in second position, following Dave Brown. I'm just going to stop right here and tell you that I love these in-car views. And a lot of the in-car views are coming from our series sponsor, which is GoPro, which is a great little camera. Can mount anywhere. We've seen back-facing cameras, front-facing cameras here. They go anywhere. They're so easy to use. And the quality that we get. And it's like I'm sitting right next to Brandon.
Well, they shoot in high definition, which is awesome, 1080p high definition, and they shoot some fantastic video. Yes, just like being on board. But speaking of that, here, look at Brandon here. He is just all over Dave Brown now.
He is closing that gap. Is he going to start banging? Oh, well,
oh,
yeah,
there
he is.
He's trying to go for it on the last turn.
He's not banging on the door. He opened the door and he walked right through.
And he locked up a wheel and went by. Actually, it went by, made it look so easy, but it's not so easy to pass Dave Brown. I can tell you that. But this is an awesome move there. He just goes in, goes inside, locks it up a little bit, goes for the apex, comes out wide.
Beautiful pass. Very nice pass on that. So now we have Brandon Krause in the first position. We're going to actually see this again from the in-car camera of Dave Brown. I don't know if you can see it in his rear view, but Brandon is coming up there on the left side, and you'll see him.
There he goes.
Make that clean pass.
That was a beautiful job by Brandon. Now the question is, will Dave be able to...
Wait a minute. Not just Brandon. We've got one following in on the tail of Brandon, and that's that Mazda Speed 3.
Yeah, Cabeza's beautiful move. He just snuck in there and made the pass on Dave Brown. I don't know what happened. I think Dave lost a little momentum. He backed off a little bit in order not to hit Brandon maybe, and Cabeza's just took advantage of the opportunity and went in there. And we're on board Cabezas now, watching from the rear view camera, and he just went by
There you go.
and
Right past Dave.
took advantage of the opportunity. Wow, that was a fantastic
That was a
move by
beautiful
Cabezas.
pass.
That Mazda Speed 3 is doing really well. These guys are going to be... If he can score a win today, these guys will be just jumping up and down. This
It's
would
been
be
a
so
great
good
year
the
for
team.
them. Their cars have been doing well. It's been a bit of a development. Last year's
You know-
finish wasn't as clean as they wanted, I think.
This weekend, the team had so many problems because, they have two of these Mazda Speed 3s, T&I Racing does. And the other car, the red car, they brought it out for its first race of the season this time. And they had overheating issues and they blew up the motor. So, they were so excited about having the second car and they were going to do all these great things and not even being able to make the start of the race. That was devastating to them. And they were really upset. But so they really deserve a good finish here. But now, wow, back in the thick of these things, we're on board the Mini Cooper S of Andy Chittum, and he's following the Ralph Lauren BMW 135, who is also chasing the Pete Bovenberg's Civic.
Who is right behind Dave Brown. So let's talk about our order right now. We've got Brandon Cross in the first position.
And he's followed by the Mazda Speed 3 of Cabezas.
Third position right now is Dave Brown.
And whoa! And the fourth we have the Pete Bovenberg's Civic. And of course, fifth now, as you just saw, Kurt Simmons stole fifth place away from Andy Chittum with a beautiful out-braking move at the last possible second there. Totally surprising him, I think. Look at that, he just stuck it in there and made a quick little pass there.
And then tucked in on that left hand or that right hand turn. So he did on that turn. So that was very nice.
Yeah.
Kurt Simmons.
And Kurt Simmons here has made a great comeback after going to the back of the pack, climbed his way back, and now he's running in fifth place. Beautiful move. There we see it again.
Nice pass there. Kurt Simmons there.
And we're on board the Bovenberg. Now, Bovenberg's been really catching up to Dave Brown.
That's true. And we talked about this a little bit earlier. It's going to be really important for Pete from a point standpoint, from a points view on this season, that he finishes ahead of Brandon. Brandon's in first. Pete's now currently in fourth. So we really got to see. He's done well moving up. Oh, did we just pass?
Yeah, looks like he made the move on Dave Brown. Well, yes, as you were saying, Brandon is about 3 points ahead of Pete at the moment. And so Pete, after this race, there's only one more race. So Pete really needs to get some points, at least not let Brandon gain more points on him. So he really needs to do better than Brandon. Now, the penalty earlier, which set him back to fifth place, really hurt Pete. Pete should have been starting on the front row, either ahead, right, next to Brandon somewhere.
Okay.
His lap times were good enough for that, but because of the penalty, that set him back to fifth place.
Okay.
So,
Which he's had to make up.
And he's had to
work
make
through
that
the
up.
crowd here. So currently running in third position, with Brandon still obviously out in that first position.
Right. Now, Brandon, of course, is going to, take advantage of this opportunity. So his, motive here is to just put the pedal down and build up a gap and get out of here before he can catch me.
Now the gap's not quite what he would hope. I think that the Mazda Speed 3 is only a car or two lengths behind him here, so he probably would be a little more comfortable with more.
Right.
But as long as he can keep Pete behind him a couple of positions, that's good.
Definitely. But you know what? The nice thing is that Brandon doesn't have anybody ahead of him, so he's got that comfort there where he doesn't have any issues in front. He can just drive his lines and not worry about it. Although now he's having to start to worry about being passed by the Mazda, so maybe he has to watch his mirrors a little bit because he doesn't have as big a gap as he would have hoped by now.
I'm sure that he would hope to have. That's true. And Pete's not going to give up. Pete's going to close that gap between the second position and himself. And so once that gap's closed, he's going to be pressuring that second place car.
Now, Pete's done remarkably well considering where he started because, just based on his lap time alone, he should have been right next to Brandon and they should have been fighting alongside each other right now and he could have been leading this race.
That's right, but the penalty that he had incurred right after qualifying was just forgetfulness, really.
After each session, the drivers are supposed to go to impound to get go through tech to make sure the cars are legal and get weighed and all that stuff. Well, sometimes people forget in the heat of the battle, and if you make a detour or go somewhere else first, then you lose your time.
You lose your qualifying time, which is why Pete started in the back and has worked his way up very well. He's currently holding the third position. But is that enough to get enough points to close that gap with
Right.
Brandon? We're just going to have to see.
Right, so I mean, he's doing amazingly well considering, he started way back and now he's up to third place and he's almost up there. But, you always think, what if he was alongside and what if he could have taken off and then maybe he could have potentially been way out in the lead by now.
Well, that's true, but I would say that every driver could say that, and that's what racing is all about. We've had quite an interesting season, really, with the points. Now, in our first round, Dave Brown had a mechanical, which really gave him some his points.
Right, that's
Not
right.
very
At
high.
Thunder Hill, brand new car, he had an issue with his center differential, I believe, which let go, and he had to stop in the middle of the race after doing really well with the brand new car. So Brown had a big problems
Well,
there.
that's right, and it only netted him 39 points in that first round, where Brandon was up with 100 points with the win, and so there's a big gap set up
Right.
already. However, move on to round 3, again at Thunder Hill, Brandon experienced a very similar thing.
Yeah, Brandon had some engine mechanical problems, which brought him to a halt early on in the race, netted him only 40 points, which set him back and that allowed everybody else to catch up. Because at that point, it looked like Brandon was untouchable. He had 2 wins in a row, and it looked like he was just going to walk away with it.
It did, but you just never know. Now, with Pete, he hasn't had any huge mechanicals, but he's been consistently second and third position, which is it's consistent points, but it's not
Right.
a win.
Yeah, Pete's been really consistent, and Larry Benny has been really consistent. Larry, at the last race, had an issue which really hurt him. At Thunder Hill in August, he finished the race, but he had that steering issue, so he didn't finish as high as he could have. Because that weekend, he was really looking forward to potentially finishing at the podium top 3.
Sure.
Everybody else was having issues. He was not. He was going for it. And then he had a mechanical problem. He ended up jumping in the backup car, which really dropped him in points. Basically finished last place. So, again, that hurt him too. But Pete's been pretty solid everywhere. He hasn't had any... His lowest point total is 70 points. 70 points is not bad as your lowest point. Now, yes, it's not on the podium, but it's still not bad at all.
Not bad. Now, we say points is points, and it is absolutely true. Whether you get 39 points or 40 points or 70 points, while those aren't 100, it's still good points and adding up for that total at the end of the season, which is what they're all counting on right now. And we had mentioned earlier, too, that the points race is really close in this 6th round.
Correct. Now, one thing, speaking of Pete, is one thing we're noticing here is Pete has an exhaust issue with his car right now, we've been noticing. It looks like he's dragging his muffler around. And that is not necessarily going to slow him down enough, but if it becomes loose or worse yet, he could get black flag for this.
He absolutely could, because all of the tracks have a sound limit.
Well, they have the sound limit. Also, it could be a safety hazard in case that muffler falls off and goes in through the windshield of somebody.
Wow.
So if one of the corner workers calls this in and reports it to the stewards, they may issue him a black flag to come in and fix that. So Pete's actually pretty lucky because of this, the ground effects on his car. You can't really see the muffler dragging unless you really look closely. You can only see it in very few places. And you can kind of hear it as he goes by. You can hear that thing dragging. So that could be an interesting thing. It would be really bad if here he is, everything's well. He's worked his way up to third place, knocking on Brandon's door, and then he gets a black flag. That could be a bad thing. But Brandon here is, catching up and starting lapping cars now. He's just moving on, not having any issues. And here he goes past this couple of lap cars and easily works his way by. Now that
actually will help him, because as he works through these lapped cars, the second place and third place behind him need to do the same thing, and they may not be able to do it as cleanly as he's just
right. He needs
demonstrated.
to make sure he passes them at the right time. But see, just like here, now he got stuck behind another car here, and he wants by. But this is a dangerous place to make a pass, because if the car you're passing doesn't see you coming or does something that you don't expect, then it could take out both of you. So you know, it's one of those things where you need to move, you need to go, and get by this guy and not have him slow you
Absolutely.
down. But then you don't want to go too fast and then ruin your whole race either. So.
We just got the white flag, so we're down to our last lap. So this is good for Brandon. If he can hold it together for one more lap, then he's going to realize it's another win.
Yeah, one more lap, just about 2 minutes away from taking home another win. He's had 3 wins, and this would be his 4th win of the season.
It could be.
Not too bad. 4 out of 6 would not be too bad at all. I think Brandon would love to take that victory home.
That's
but
right.
you know what? Everybody else is catching up, and the Mazda's still there, and Pete's still there. And there's a bunch more cars that he's about to pass. So he's coming up to a bunch more lap cars also. So he has to be careful again.
In the home stretch, it's really critical that you
look at Pete. He's just passing these lap cars as fast as he can, trying to. He's not giving up, trying to get this done. But I don't think that Pete has enough time because the checkered flag is out, and even though they're really close, Brandon Krause takes the win once again.
Absolutely, and the Valtierra and Cabezas come in across the finish line second.
With Pete Bovenberg, 3rd place. Not too bad considering where he started. Not too bad at all.
Right.
Yeah, baby, number 1! I started short shifting and I think
Dave got the lead in the first lap, and I passed him on the last turn. And I tried not to look back. We had a good lead there for a while, and they started closing up. I didn't have the fastest car out there. Pete came up, Felipe came up. We only won, I think, by about 4 car lengths maybe. It was a tough race. A lot of dust and dirt. The track wasn't all that fast. We dropped off a little bit of time in the race, but we held them off and we got the win, and I'm so happy for this. I didn't even really expect to be sitting here. I had car problems yesterday, and the MBO crew, some of the guys, Jeremy and Josh, came over, and Pete let him work on my car, and we got a win out of it, and the car ran great. So I really owe it to the guys that really worked on my car and got it running.
Felipe, great run for you, man. Started in second place, dropped to third on the start, got back up to second. great battle with Pete Bovenberg there. This Mazda's really coming along.
Yeah, cars are not too bad. We actually did better than we thought we were going to do in the race. We were hoping for a podium finish, but we weren't thinking we were going to be that close to Krause in the first place, or be battling with Pete for second place as well. But overall, things are going well. So, that's basically a testament to all the hard work that Ron and Deb Baltiera put into the team, AJ at Performance and Frame Tuning, American Canyon Collision Center, just everyone that's been helping us out, battle the car, and even people we're competing against, like Brandon's been giving us some advice on spring rates, alignment settings. Our car has seen their shop. Overall, it's an effort by a bunch of people.
Well, it's really tough. If you look at the history of the U.S. Touring Car Championship Series, very few repeat back-to-back winners, and that speaks volumes. If it was so easy, someone would win it all the time, and it's not. You look at today's timesheets, and we're not saying, oh, somebody's 2 seconds ahead or somebody's 3 seconds ahead. We're like the top 5 guys within a couple hundredths. We're giving each other grief over a couple hundredths of a second, which is a blink of an eye. Like I said, in the race today, I was 6/100ths of a second faster. Well, that's really a blink of an eye. It's not like that's a whole bunch of cars. That's just a quick blink of an eye. So, the future, we've got the new car that we're putting together. Everybody knows the cat's out of the bag. We're all, and it's a beautiful car, and we're excited about getting it on the track. But, in racing, you don't want to switch horses in the middle of the race. And so the old, Civic that we have, as you saw today, was still running really good, and so we'll probably finish out the season with her. She deserves that. She's a good car. And,
Talking to Dave Brown, I was talking to Chris, his crew chief, and they mentioned that they probably need about 20 more horsepower at the weight they're at. They just can't get that car at a lower weight, so they're going to work on that before round number 7. So the championship still could play out. Brandon and Pete take each other out. Dave's all alone, and hey, what's up? They still have to complete, based on the U.S. Touring Car rules, half the laps to get last place points if there is a problem. So it's definitely not over by a long shot. That's one of the great things about U.S. Touring Car.
No, absolutely, and as well too. You got so many different types of cars. So front wheel drive, all wheel drive. You got turbo. You got naturally aspirated. I mean, it's just fantastic. Just even seeing them all go by, it's just a different buzz for each car. It's just it's excellent.
It's great to watch the same cars that you can drive on the street come out here and compete and race. Now, lots at stake for this championship year. This is the first year that U.S. Touring Car has aligned with the World Touring Car Championship Series. Some of the officials of U.S. Touring Car actually got to go to Valencia, Spain here last month and get a chance to meet with the the World Touring Car officials there, watch one of the races, and World Touring Car is coming here next year in September, so look for that race to come up. U.S. Touring Car will be racing right alongside the World Touring Car, so that's going to be a very, very exciting event. So but we'll check everybody out here on Final Drive TV. We'll notice everybody here again. Round number 7 of the Nitto Tire United States Touring Car Championship coming to you November 12th and 13th, so about a month away. You going to be in a car?
I'm going to do my best.
We'll have to get Rich Peterson back out here, so we'll see if we can get that there.
Absolutely.
But for Andy Chittum, my name is Jeff Leppard. Thank you so much for joining us on Final Drive TV. We'll see you again next time for round number 7 of the 2011 Nitto Tire United States Touring Car Championship.
Welcome, and thanks for joining us. We are on our second part of our doubleheader show.
Yeah, just like that. We were in Buttonwillow a second ago. Now we're at Infineon Raceway. See, that's how fast we are in U.S. Touring Car.
That's right. Round 6 at Buttonwillow, round 7 back at Infineon Raceway.
That's right, the ending. What a beautiful setting here, a beautiful track. You can look behind us here and to see how gorgeous this is for our final round in the 2011 Nitto Tire United States Touring Car Championship. 12-corner Infineon Raceway in some beautiful Sonoma, California. And the big story is we've already had the qualifying passes. We've always had practice. We got tons of stuff to talk about. We have 5 drivers ready for a championship today. 5 drivers.
Did you emphasize that? Because it's 5 drivers. 5 drivers are mathematically still in the running for the first place championship of the Nitto Tire United States Touring Car Championship at Infineon Raceway.
When you say 5 drivers, that is when you go mathematically. We always talk about mathematics, but 5 drivers mathematically have a championship. The truth is the championship's really down to Pete Bovenberg and Brandon Krause. That's what it's going to come down to. Brandon Krause, four wins this year. Unfortunately, has a lot of mechanical problems. Pete Bovenberg with a win this year. And we talk about mechanical problems. Pete Bovenberg had a mechanical in qualifying yesterday, blew the motor up this morning.
But working on it. They are not giving up yet. They're down there working on the car, so we're going to see what happens with that. And in our series, they qualify on Saturday, they qualify on Sunday. Those two qualifyings are paired together to set the qualifying or the starting order of our race.
As far as I'm concerned, it's Brandon Krause's race to lose. He qualified on the pole yesterday, qualified on the pole again today, so 2 times combined, Brandon's on the pole. Second place, Kurt Simmons in his Dodge SRT4. They're trying so hard to find Pete a car, put his motor in his car. There's not a lot of time between the last qualifying today and the race, so unfortunately the way the schedule was set up, we had 1 qualifying yesterday, 1 qualifying today, and then the main race, and there's not a lot of time there, so he's trying to find another car. Kurt Simmons, his former teammate, said, I'll just give you my car, I'm out of the championship. Then I told Kurt, hey, I was looking at the numbers, dude, I don't think you're out of the championship. Sure enough, he has a chance to win. So he's like, nope, Pete's got to go find his own car now. So I think Pete's trying to get a car together. He has a motor on his way. We don't know what car Pete's going to be in, but I guarantee you that MBO Motorsports crew, hardest working crew in U.S. Touring Car, most dedicated crew, as you saw in the Buttonwillow first half, the craziest crew as well. And I'm sure Pete will be in a car. Whether or not it's his, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
So speaking of that, here is that Acura TSX that Pete Bovenberg hopes to be driving in the race. As you can see, the crew's desperately working on it, trying to get it done. They're under the gun because the clock is ticking and there's not much time left. So we'll see if they make it to the grid on time. Hopefully they will. In the meantime, we're going to talk to some of the other drivers and see how they're feeling going into this last race of the season. We'll see how they're approaching this race.
Well, I'm here with Felipe Cabezas driving the Mazda Speed 3 from Performance In-Frame Tuning, American Collision Center, and of course T&I Racing. Felipe, good qualifying for you. Cars came together. This is the old reliable compared to the new red car, so the try and true car for you. How was your qualifying sessions today?
The warm-up was actually better than our qualifying by about a second and a half, but we're still qualified 4th today, which is not bad. Still second row start, so it shouldn't be too bad. Car's running well. We have some little issues that we've had all year that we haven't really resolved yet, but at this point, we've learned to deal with it.
Starting 6th in this race, tell me what your strategy is for today.
Absolutely. So I personally love these longer races. It gives us a better shot at actually getting on a podium. So hopefully I'll keep it consistent. On the qualifying, we got to as close as 2 seconds of the top runners. It's been the best that the car's been all year long, and I'm looking to keep it consistent, and hopefully we get a podium.
Excellent. Well, certainly over the 7 races of this season, Larry, you've been dialing in the car every race better and better. It's been a really good, consistent car, so we wish you all the luck.
Oh, I greatly appreciate it. One of my sponsors, UTI, they've been great in setting up the car and continuing to improve it week after week. And we have our new sponsor on board, Telepacific Telecommunications, so we'll look forward to doing better and better, and look forward to putting on a real good show for next year.
So I know you had some problems with the car recently. Buttonwillow, brand new motor, overheated it. It didn't fix itself. Tell us what happened this off-season. We only had a couple weeks.
Well, during the break, we received an engine from Mazda Speed. Mazda Speed has been really, really good to us this year. So we were able to get it in during the break. Yesterday we used as a break-in session, and it's been running flawless since.
Perfect. Well, see your teammate pulling up here right now as well, Felipe, and the other Mazda Speed 3. There's Mazdas everywhere here. But going for the race, you're just out here just to, test the car out, get ready for next year. But if we have a chance for the win, are we going to go for it?
Definitely, I'll take what I can get. In this race, we just want to cross the line, have the car hold up. This is going to be our, hopefully, our race winner next year.
All right, so I'm standing here with Brandon Krause, who qualified first yesterday on our Saturday qualifying, qualified again first today, and Sunday qualifying, which gets you the pole. So tell me about your qualifyings.
Well, the track was really good today and yesterday. It was a little slick yesterday morning, but we got a great car. We've been doing some shock adjustments and some tire pressure adjustments, and I got a great crew here this weekend, and we've just been pulling fast lap times. We haven't had any issues really with the car, so to say. So I'm hoping for a good race today, and the Nitto tires are handling great today. The DW pumps, Roger Krause Racing, Honda Prelude, I'm hoping to put it in a victory lane today. So that's my whole goal.
Excellent. Well, we certainly wish you luck with that. Victor Lane would get you, likely point-wise, it could get you the championships, as this is the end of the series.
Yeah, the championship's pretty tight. I think we're 7 points ahead of Pete right now. So, it's anybody's game, really. I mean, we get a little bad luck or somebody else does. I mean, it's anybody's game. So I'm going to play a smart race. My goal kind of today is to get out front and just run a good pace, keep the car, in one piece, and be really smooth.
Wow, 7 points. Just 7 points decides first and second.
Right.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. But also between second to third position is only 39 points.
Second to third, 39 points, exactly, between Pete Bovenberg and Dave Brown.
And then from Dave Brown to the fourth place position, which is Larry Banney, another 12 points.
Another 12 points there. So this whole thing could turn upside down. Larry Banney could easily win the championship today, right here, right now. A couple of bad moves from these the top three guys,
the top three,
and Larry could end up winning the championship as a rookie. So it's not going to be it's
not
entirely possible.
It's not in the bag, that's for sure. We're going to have some great in-car cameras views on this race too. We've got Dave Brown here.
We're on board the Mitsubishi Lancer here. Great view from the roof of the Mitsubishi here. We're going to hopefully show you some good clips from here. And we also are on board now with Felipe Cabezas on Mazda Speed 3. Great view on board. You can see his hand positions and what he sees from the driver's viewpoint kind of thing. Right. Great views here. And we also are on board with
Pete Bovenberg in the NBO Racing Dodge SRT4 for this race.
And we'll talk about a little bit why Pete's
in the Dodge
today. Don't be surprised. But let's go to our starting grid right now.
In the pole position, we have Brandon Krause in the DW Pumps Honda Prelude.
In second place, we have Dave Brown in the Hawkworks Mitsubishi Lancer Rally Art.
In the third position, we have Felipe Cabezas in the TNI Racing Mazda Speed 3.
In fourth, we have the rookie sensation Larry Banney, the GoGoGear.com UTI BMW M3.
And the fifth position, we have Ron Valtierra in the TNI Racing Red Mazda Speed 3.
Not to be confused with the blue Mazda Speed 3 of his teammate. In sixth position, we have a new person, Paul Gettings in the Gettings Racing Mercedes-Benz 190E 2.316 Cosworth.
Seventh position, we have Tom Melbourne in the Speedy Motorsports Acura Integra.
In eighth position, we have Pete Bovenberg driving Kurt Simmons' Stevens Creek Dodge SRT4.
And in the ninth position, we have Kurt Simmons in the MBO Motorsports Acura TSX.
And rounding out the top 10 was Tom Lepper in the Team Cobalt California Chevy Cobalt SS. Now we're on board with Dave Brown as he's getting ready for the start of the race. So let's see how this goes.
This is great. So we've got Brandon in the first, and here we go.
And Dave Brown takes off like a rocket.
Excellent start. You know that four-wheel drive.
And Brandon got a terrible start. What happened to Brandon?
Right.
He got passed by 2 cars easily.
Without a doubt.
Going up to turn 2. Look at that. Cabezas is right on there for second place. Great job by Cabezas, and great job, of course, by Dave Brown.
By Dave Brown in that four-wheel drive Mitsubishi Lancer Rally Art. Took off in first position.
And look at the rookie sensation, Larry Banney. He is up to third place. Great job by Larry.
Well, we're going to find out what happened to Brandon there. That was not his best start, I would say.
No, and look at that. He's Gettings is about to pass Brandon. Brandon's not doing well at all in the early stages here. Meanwhile,
hopefully this is not an indication of his whole race.
Look at that, he's getting passed right there. He's getting passed. Something must be wrong with his car.
You know, he's had a little bit of a tricky electrical problems throughout this season. So
something's definitely wrong with the car. He's slowing down.
Meanwhile, up in first place is Dave Brown, followed by the blue Mazda Speed 3 of Cabezas.
Yeah, but Dave Brown is taking an opportunity here. He could win the championship with a win today, and he needs a little bit of help from his competitors to build a little gap between himself and Brandon and Pete.
That's right. So let's go back to the in-car here. On the first, we're in-car with Dave Brown again, and he just launched right off of that start.
He got what he wanted. All season long, he's been wanting to be on the front row to fully take advantage and build a big gap, and here's his chance. So this is going to be really a thing. Now, keep in mind, this race today is a 50-minute race. This is twice as long as our usual races.
Okay, so a little more strategy in this race for sure.
So definitely a strategy you have to really manage your car and make sure you don't burn off your car or your tires or anything
Well,
like
and manage
that.
your fuel too. Are we allowed no fuel stops in this race?
No
just a
fuel
straight
stops.
50.
No fuel stops. So you can pretty much go the distance, but you need to manage everything else and traffic and everything else to make sure.
So
that
we're
you
in
don't
car
do
right
that.
now with Felipe Cabezas in that third position, and he just, he took the other side, the left side of Brandon, and just completely passed him up, as did Dave.
This is really similar to what happened at the last race to Kurt Simmons, where at the start Kurt really bogged down and didn't get off the line well, and here is Brandon doing the same thing. Just like we told you, anything could happen in
That's
racing,
right.
and
Now, these
you never know.
These standing starts are always exciting, but from a driver's standpoint, when you get a really good start like this, you're so excited and you're so pumped, but you really need to settle into your race. As you said, 50 minutes, you need to take control of it, not get overexcited too early, and just get into the groove.
Yeah, because one mistake, and you could be off in the dirt or in the mud and get stuck and have to wait for a tow truck, and that's it. Your day's over.
Your day's over. That is true.
And with how close the competition is at Buttonwillow, at the finish, but the space between first and second was something like 0.6 of a second or something like that. So you can't make any mistakes because 0.6 of a second is your buffer. That's it.
That's it. That's right. And we've talked about this before. The cars in this series are so closely matched that it's anybody's race and it's anybody's finish and it's anyone's podium, as we've seen throughout the year.
Right. Now, the nice thing about the way we have the series with all the different cars is certain cars have certain advantages, places. Dave Brown's car is, of course, awesome at the launching, but he seems to be caught. As we see Felipe here, Felipe is catching him up in certain parts of the track, and
He absolutely is.
and Brown seems to pull away certain parts of the track. So this is a really nice match here. We're gonna see, but if Felipe's smart here, he's just gonna follow Dave and study him. Look how close he gets in braking zones.
Certainly
Look at that.
tucking right into behind him.
So he's going to study Dave a little bit here and see where Dave's weaknesses are, where his strengths are. See, now we're on board with with the Dodge SRT4 of Pete. Don't
That's
mistake
right.
that. And we see how he took the start. Oh boy, the sun at turn 2 with that Lexan windshield.
Can be brutal.
Boy, you can't see anything that's going on. So he's following Ron Valtier, and he hasn't driven this car, I believe, in 3 years.
Right. So why is he driving this car? Should we get into that a little bit?
Well, okay. So the Civic that Pete normally drives had an engine failure, massive engine failure. Well, the whole thing just blew up and smoke everywhere and things like that. So because of that, they did not have enough time to swap engines and do all that stuff because the race, there was only a few hours between the race. So they managed to grab an Acura TSX and drive that. Well, the Acura needed a transmission change, so the crew was busy swapping the transmission to put in the legal transmission to run that car.
In the Acura.
In the Acura TSX.
Still not the car that Pete's driving here.
Yes, still, you don't see the Acura, Pete driving the Acura. So what happened was the backup, that was plan B. Plan C was to use Kurt's car, Dodge. And as we see here, Pete going by Brandon, who's not broken down, but driving very slowly. So obviously Brandon's having some issues. But anyway, to go back to what we were talking about, so because the Dodge was not ready in time for the start of the race, but the Acura was not ready for the start of the race, Pete jumped into Kurt's car. Kurt offered Pete the car, said, "Here, take my car."
Well, as teammates, that makes all the sense in the world. Pete is actually in the running for first place, and he's got a chance with the points, where Kurt's a little lower in the point rating.
Right.
So
and here we see Brandon going really slow, working his way opposite direction, working his way down to towards the last place there. But
I'm sure the frustration level.
Look at that. If he drives at this pace, he's going to get lapped in a couple of races, a couple of more turns.
Of laps, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh my goodness, what is going on with Brandon's car? Jeez, but like you now here's a turn 2. It seems to be up to speed now, so something's I think he's got some intermittent issues where sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's fast.
Sometimes it's not. Well, we're going to see if he's going to be able to finish this race. That's going to be key for him in the points and whether he finishes even in the top 3.
Well, as if things stand out, because right now Pete's not driving very fast either. Pete's stuck behind Ron Valtiera, and he's working his way backwards as well. So Pete's, because he's having issues with the Dodge, Brandon's having issues with this. Brown is way up ahead in first place. As it stands right now, Brown will be the champion from third place. This
I
is
wouldn't
gonna
say
be
that too
amazing.
soon. We're going to see. As we said,
Well,
50 minutes is a long
50
time,
minutes is long.
and the point span is so tight that anything can happen.
Anything
but
can
Brown got a spectacular start, without a doubt.
Well, if things go this way, who knows? Maybe we'll have not something else go wrong. With 1 minute to go or something like that. You never know what's going to happen here. But so now we see the Larry Banney, who's already clinched the Rookie of the Year,
Holding third position here.
He's doing very, very well.
So we see Felipe Cabezas here in the Mazda Speed 3, still holding second position and really keeping that gap between Dave Brown and himself pretty small. He's certainly knocking on the door of that second position.
Felipe's driving a very smart race here because he's keeping that gap between himself and Dave Brown because he knows as long as I keep that gap, I can make a pass. As soon as Dave makes a little mistake, I can go by and make a safe pass.
And really, the longer you follow somebody, well, I know you'd like to be in front of them, but the longer you follow, you see their pattern from turn to turn because it is the same from lap to lap. And so he's really kind of doing his research here and getting ready for that pass.
Exactly. He's just studying Brown and waiting for his opportunity. He's thinking, you know what, I got 40 minutes left or whatever we have left here, so no problem.
No problem.
Now, these guys did really well at Buttonwillow also in this blue Mazda Speed 3, but there was a little issue at Buttonwillow. Following the race and post-race inspections, they failed the post-race inspection, resulted in a disqualification of the blue car.
Which actually took away their second place finishing, which moved Pete up, which is why we've got such a close gap right now.
And it really took them out of the opportunity to win the championship this year, at this race with one race to go.
So here,
and yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, here we are in car with Pete again, and seeing how he's doing. It seems like he's getting a little more comfortable with the car.
A little more He just passed. We just saw him pass the red Mazda Speed 3 of Ron Valtierra. He's getting a little bit more comfortable with the car, I think. But you know what? It's he's look at that.
Maybe I spoke a little. Oh, maybe I spoke a little too soon.
We jinxed him here.
Sorry, sorry, Pete.
Look at that. He's going off agricultural racing here with his dive.
Now is it just getting comfortable with the car?
And
Is it that Lexan windshield, as you were saying, with the glare as you come into turn 2?
Could be the car. Could be he's not used to the car, but nevertheless he made the pass on Valtierra. Now he's got to try to make the pass again on Valtierra.
He certainly does. That turn 2 was a little rough on him and the car, so we'll see how he does.
And he's actually lucky there because a lot of cars that if you go off there, you're going pretty fast. There's a good chance you're going to hit something. But now we have Kurt Simmons, a teammate, right behind the Dodge, and he lets his teammate go by. And this must be a little frustrating because Pete couldn't have been in that car, which has passed him.
So, team decisions. You never know. So we're just going to have to see how that plays out.
What happened? As Kurt gets a little sideways here. Well, what happened was Kurt just couldn't take the green flag because he had to start late because the car was they needed another 5 minutes to start off. So that's really frustrating.
But the races don't hold for one car.
Races can't hold.
Races are unscheduled. So
I think
he's doing very well for starting.
I think they're trying to call the power company to pull the power plug on the track or something to slow people down. But
very well could have.
But yeah, as we see, the Kurt Simmons in the Acura TSX here is going pretty well, and what we see here. Pete's in the pits.
In the pits.
That off-road excursion.
Oh no.
Ward, we have Ward has it that it resulted in a flat tire.
Oh no.
So if his day couldn't get any worse, now he had to pit all the way from turn 1, make a complete lap, and come back.
Well, I would say for that team, thank goodness for in-car radio, so that the team would understand to go get that tire corrected. Oh, is that a pass on, is that Brandon making a pass?
That's Brandon now making a pass on Pete. Both of them are having problems, but Brandon's problems seem to have gone away, and he's working his way up.
He's just also passed Valtierra there, if you saw that on the left-hand side of the screen.
Right now, there's a big battle brewing up. This race could still end up. We have no idea what's going to end up.
Now
Brandon's moving up. Look at that. Now he's caught up to third place and passed for third place.
Well, whatever had him slow in the first couple of laps has gone away because he's making passes now.
Right, definitely. And Larry Banney now moves up to fourth place with Brandon in third place. and moving on up. That's pretty good for Brandon.
That's
wow.
amazing. It'll be interesting to see what happened to his car. Was it that mysterious electrical thing that he runs into every once in a while? Was it missing? What was going on?
Right, definitely. But you know what? So far, but look at that. Now Brandon's caught up to Felipe Basis. And now he's knocking on second place.
Absolutely. Where Felipe was pretty comfortable in second position just looking at that first, he's now having to watch his back.
Right, that's amazing for Brandon. Boy, great job by Brandon. Looks like he made the pass. We missed it, but it looks like he made the pass on Felipe. Is now in second place. So I wonder if he can take the first place now from back away from Dave Brown. But Dave Brown is a pretty good gap now. He's done really well through traffic. So I don't think that's going to happen. So it looks like Dave Brown will probably take this win. It's going to be really close. But yes, turn 11 now. Last turn, last lap.
Still holding it for Dave. Great race
Brown,
for Dave.
So Brown in the Works Mitsubishi will take his first win of the season. First win ever in the Mitsubishi Lancer Rally Yard. Great job for that team. Great job for the team. And a great job for Brandon coming up from last place to run up to second place in the race in that DW Pumps Honda Prelude.
Absolutely. Round 7, Nitto Tire United States Touring Car Championship 2011 season has come to an end. Brandon Krause takes the championship. A lot of excitement coming, ending with this year and coming for our 2012 series. So follow us. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter.
Thanks for joining us. Tune in again next time when we'll bring you another exciting episode of Final Drive TV with the latest news from the world of cars. For more information and to view complete episodes, please visit us at finaldrive.net.